Hello everyone, and welcome to the Gunpla Network. I'm the Spicer, and today's news is brought to you by none other than Canadian Gundam. Canadian Gundam is your one-stop shop for all your Gunpla and Plamo needs here in North America. When you're checking their catalog and placing your order, don't forget to use the promo code Gunpla Network to save 10% off. Starting us off this week, we have the 30-minute mission SIS GC69R Arcana Quartet form, with a release date of December 2021 and a price tag of 3,300 Japanese yen. This 30-minute mission sister kit is sporting a rather Char-like motif with a lot of red and some blonde hair and blue eyes. Now, of course, there are different faceplates, so that does change that up, but largely speaking, the backpack is the most interesting part as it makes up more plastic than the main body, it looks like. We also have the real grade Evangelion Unit 3 with a release date of December 2021 and a price tag of 6,600 Japanese yen. The Evangelion Unit 3 would be the predecessor, or the successor rather, to the Evangelions Unit 1 and 2, and then of course the Prototype 0 type. This in the original animation would be the one that Shinji's friend Taiji pilots, that he unfortunately attacks and kind of doesn't kill, but maims pretty hard. And in this is more closely related to the Rebuild movies and their aesthetic, and it's a really good representation of Unit 3 in its much darker color scheme. Next, we have the Figurized Standard Amplified Doukamon or Gallantmon with a release date of June 26, 2021 and a price tag of 4,950 Japanese yen. Doukamon is called one of the Royal Knight Digimon alongside Omnimon and Magnamon. The Royal Knight Digimon are kind of the protectors of the digital world with the highest possible rank that you can get in the network security portion of the digital world, so needless to say they have a pretty good job with some pretty good job security. Now, speaking of Omegamon, we have the Figurized Standard Amplified Omegamon X Antibody type with a November 2021 release date and a price tag of 5,280 Japanese yen. Much like Doukamon, Omegamon is one of the Holy Knight Digimon. Same deal, network security is kind of its whole thing, and this is a little bit more edgy looking than the regular Omegamon, so I guess the X Antibody type is something from the new run of movies or new series that makes it more powerful or something, but it is much edgier looking and it's actually really cool looking with kind of a pearlescent finish. We also have the Figurized Standard Metal Garurumon with a release date of December 2021 and a price tag of 2,530 Japanese yen. This just regular standard Metal Garurumon is kind of like the one that we've already got, just a little bit more basic in terms of its paint and more closely related to what we'd have originally seen with Digimon. So maybe not necessarily so much the new movies, but kind of the older early 2000s-esque aesthetic where it's a little bit more basic, but it's still the exact same kit visually speaking. We also have the Figurized Standard War Greymon with a release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 2,200 Japanese yen. Much like the Metal Garurumon, this War Greymon is not the amplified version, so it is a little bit more rounded in terms of its proportions and closer to maybe the original anime accurate design or line art than some of the more stylized versions or the newer movie versions. Regardless, still very good looking kit, very similar to what we've got, and if you're a huge Digimon fan, this would help you build out that collection, and it's kind of cool to see they're really like covering every base they can with some of these kits. We also have the Pokemon Plastic Model Collection 49 Select Series Gardevoir with a release date of December 2021 and a price tag of 1,320 Japanese yen. Gardevoir is a Psychic Fairy type Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 3. Prior to Generation 6 though, it was just a Psychic type Pokemon, so it has evolved into, I guess, a Psychic Fairy type Pokemon, but very iconic Pokemon, to say the very least, especially from quote-unquote the newer generations. It's still 3rd generation, so it's a little older, but even Generation 7 is a lot newer than, say, like Gen 1. And it is definitely something I think people will like. It's iconic, it is one of the more mentioned or more noticeable Pokemon, so it is really cool to see it in plastic form. We also have the Pokemon Plastic Model Collection Quick 08 Mimikyu, with a release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 715 Japanese yen. Mimikyu is kind of, in a way, what its name is. It's a mimic type Pokemon. Vaguely kind of resembles a Pikachu, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of internet comics of it being kind of one of the more, I'll say, cute Pokemon, because it's almost so raggedy kind of looking. It's cute in its own way. And it is really cool to see this, because this is honestly another fan favorite, but it is one of the more noticeable or recognizable Pokemon, and it is from the Quick series, so it's going to be a very quick, straightforward build. We also have the Figurized Standard Amplified Batman, which is, I guess, the provisional name for now, with a release date of November 2021 and a price tag of 4,950 Japanese yen. We don't know a whole lot about this. There's only the one silhouetted image, so we don't really know what kind of Batman we're getting. The image kind of maybe looks like it's going to be an armored type Batman because it's pretty bulky, or maybe it's just going to be bulky proportionally speaking. But for it to be a November 2021 release and have no other images is kind of strange, so hopefully we see some more very, very soon. Next, we have the Master Grade Gundam Virtue, with a release date of November 2021 and a price tag of 8,800 Japanese yen. The GN005 Virtue is kind of the heavy weapons artillery mobile suit from Gundam 00's first season and is piloted by Tiara Arde. Now, the Virtue, as many people were very curious about early on, does also house the Gundam Nautilus within it. So all of the bulky external parts are just additional armor that clip over the Gundam Nautilus itself, and we at least now see that is the case in plastic as well. It doesn't look like there's any kind of strange gimmicks to it. It looks all very straightforward in terms of like detaching parts and putting them back on. So it is cool that we get to see that. Now, I assume that the little hair pieces are probably going to be removable, because I don't know that they can actually physically store them in that armor. But regardless, it is nice to see it here. The predecessor to the Cerevi of Gundam 00 Season 2 doesn't quite house as much weaponry, but you do have 2 double GN cannons on the shoulders, and you have the large GN bazooka for its main weaponry. This unit can also form a GN barrier, and as we all know, can pop off all the pieces to become the Gundam Nautilus that has a very straightforward Gundam, gun, beam saber, and shield combo. We also have the high-grade Zaku 2, the December 2021 release with a price tag of 1,760 Japanese yen, and this is a weird one. I guess it's a revive. It doesn't say HGUC, but it's an HG Zaku 2 that's got some newer articulation, which is kind of cool. I'm sure like all the Origins ones were probably fine, but this is much closer to the original aesthetic of the Zaku 2, so if you're not too fond of the extremely technically detailed Origins designs, you can get your regular old Zaku 2 on and army build this at that price. We also have the high-grade Altizen with a December 2021 release and a price tag of 4,400 Japanese yen. And I am incredibly excited to see some Super Robot Wars love here with the Altizen in a high-grade form, and just makes me hope we see some more just out there random mechs come into the HG line. If you're unfamiliar with the Altizen, I can almost guarantee you've seen this red mobile suit or mech somewhere, as it's pretty iconic for the Super Robot Wars line, or just kind of their lore. It's very cool. It has a pile bunker. That's really cool. It's probably one of the most noticeable weapons on here, is it's got like a revolver chamber on one of the arms. Very excited to see this. We also have the high-grade 1/48 scale Regenleif, general purpose / cannon type equipment, which is the provisional name, with a release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 3,960 Japanese yen. The XM2 Regenleif actually comes to us from 86, the current, I guess, big name in mecha anime that's airing based on the light novel series before it. Very cool. If you've not watched the first portion that does exist of the anime adaptation of 86 or however you want to say it, I just say it 86 because it's easier. It's pretty cool. It's another spider mech, but it looks a little bit better, a little bit more futuristic than the Juggernauts, and has a couple of other really neat gimmicks to it, which is pretty cool. Speaking of 86, we also have the high-grade 1/48 scale Regenleif long barrel equipment / missile equipment type. The release date of November 2021 and a price tag of 4,180 Japanese yen. Pretty much using the exact same Regenleif base, we have the long barrel equipment, so kind of the artillery version, and then a missile pack equipment, which is actually really cool because I don't believe the Juggernauts had that. So once again, really cool to see. Really hope 86 picks up steam. It's ended its kind of first portion of its first season with 11 episodes. I've caught up to almost all of them, but episode 11, really enjoying it so far, and I'm really glad to see more stuff coming out of 86 because they're really unique, weird, spider-looking mechs. Next, we have the high-grade 1/72nd scale Big Tony Gabenbar Minfu machine. The release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 5,720 Japanese yen. This strange blue industrial machine-looking mecha comes to us from Sakugan, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm gonna be super honest. I even tried to look some stuff up, but Sakugan I think is an upcoming anime, so it hasn't aired yet, and I think it's an anime original because I don't see any like existing things. I could also be looking in the wrong places, but it does have a very unique style, especially compared to a lot of what we've seen with kind of the Real Robot, as this is still Real Robot, but in a kind of more goofier context. You have a bunch of treads, which is cool. It's very industrial, like machine looking versus more war machine looking, and it looks kind of like a giant blue duck in its mecha mode, and just like a weird way. A duck with arms, basically, is what the vibe I'm getting from this. But still really cool to see. I like industrial looking machines, so it's kind of cool to see this. We also have the 1/1000 scale Earth Defense Force Dreadnought upgraded supply mothership Asuka. Their release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 6,050 Japanese yen. This comes to us from, of course, the space epic of Star Blazers, or the space battleship Yamato series. This is kind of the successor, I guess, to what would have been a prototype of the space battleship Yamato. A lot of the technologies that were originally used there were put into later ships, this being one of them. Kind of adopting the similar-esque style, very regular naval vessel looking style to this, but also has a aircraft carrier portion on the back end. We also have the Mecha Collection Dusora 3, the release date of October 2021 and a price tag of 1,430 Japanese yen. Much like the Asuka, this comes to us from Star Blazers, or once again Space Battleship Yamato. This is the non-human force. I don't remember their name and I feel really bad about that, but it is a really cool alien ship. It's a red color, which is also really neat. It's one of the smaller scales, much like the 1/1000 scale. I think it might be a little bit smaller than that, honestly. I think it's like 1/1400 scale, something like that. So it's a little small, nice ship for accents, and if you're a big fan of Space Battleship Yamato or Star Blazers for the English adaptation, it is really cool to see that we're getting more of these. We also have the Mecha Collection Guy Peron class multi-layer airborne tender barms open ocean mobile fleet specification. That's a mouthful. Releasing in November 2021 for a price tag of 770 Japanese yen. Very similar to the Desura 3 before it, this green ship is, I believe, one of the alien craft of the Star Blazers or Space Battleship Yamato series that eventually, I think in the second season, or at least of the new adaptation, I think it follows very similarly to the original, where the aliens are kind of on the side of humanity. There's not as much of a war. It's still kind of tense, but it's mostly just like infighting on the Earth and then kind of infighting on their side and a whole like weird thing going on there. But it is nice to see this and still have another option and variation. Being part of the mecha collection, it is going to be smaller as well. Once again, I think around like a 1 to 1400 scale, or maybe even smaller than that. And that has been it for the news this week. Of course, as always, in those comments down below, let us know what you're most excited to see. As we know, I'm excited to see a lot of things, but I would say the Altizen or the Reagan lifts from 86 are really high up there for me. I'm really excited for those, and I hope that we start getting more other mecha anime series, mecha in the kind of high grade line that's around kind of the high grade scale of not really 1/44th for everything, but kind of around the traditional 1/144th Gunpla scale. But of course, any questions in the comments below as well. Leave a like, hit subscribe, check out our other content here on YouTube. Of course, join us over on Facebook and Instagram, and of course our website for all this news in real time. As always, friends, I've been the Spicer here with the Gunpla Network. Stay safe and keep on building.